To my grandmother, may you reunite with Grandpa and rest in paradise peacefully. Your journey is complete and legacy cemented. No more worries. Your love truly will be missed. Much love. From your oldest grandson, Tori.
Five things about my grandparents. Grandpa, Christian, peaceful man, smart, good discipline, hard worker, good caretaker. Grandma, good teacher, great cook, good heated, didn't believe in violence. She was a blessing.
So my memory of Grandma is much later in her life. I was living, I guess, in Bowie, and was able to take her to some of her medical appointments. And during that time, I got to hear just many stories from Grandma's life. And she showed me all her writings, her work, her things from the Bible college, stuff from the church. But I remember a picture from when she was in band in college. I think that's one of my favorite memories, and just the thread of music that runs through our family. It is a strong gene in the Long family with music, and it comes through even with my grandma. So I always will appreciate that about her. So my favorite memory of Granddaddy, was at a family reunion in Big Stone Gap. And I believe I was in 8th grade, about 14 years old. And me and my sister Nikki, may I know as Grace, did Alicia Keys' song. I think it was If I Ain't Got You. And I was so excited to show people I could play piano. So I played a lot of notes and really over top of her. So after that performance, everybody said it was good, but Granddaddy came over and said, when you play with a singer, you need to play behind the singer. You need to support the singer. And I'll never forget that advice, because it has influenced the way that I play. And so now people will come to me to accompany them because they know that I will follow along, I will support, I will be behind, and I know when it's time to let the piano shine. So it's something I'll never forget about Granddaddy. Just that simple advice on how to accompany somebody.
My name is Tim. I am the second oldest son of Stan. Grandmommy and Granddad's 50th wedding anniversary is what has been popping into my head. I've been thinking about this for a while, trying to figure out what I want to say. And that's really the only thing that comes to mind. And it isn't really like anything specific about the event itself, but it's the way that I remember feeling during the event. And just, it was like one of my favorite memories with the entire family. And I remember seeing them and just the joy that they had. So that's like probably my fondest memory of them.
Yeah, this is Spencer, and I'm going to share one of my favorite memories of Grandma and Grandpa. Actually, this was years ago when we had a graduation. We were at the church, and both of them were there, and I remember the pastor talking about celebrating the person's graduation, but also said that we're going to celebrate the Long's 50th anniversary as well, and congratulate them on that. And I was like, whoa, okay, 50 years they've been married and together and stuff, and I remember after the applause and stuff, and I turned to Granddad, and I was like, hey, is it true y'all been together for 50 years? And I'll never forget. And he turned to me and with the derpiest and biggest, like, grandpappy granddad smile on his face, and he turned to me and leaned in and said, and without hesitation, and he said, and in 10 more years it'll be 60. And Grandma was like, oh, you know how Grandma is, and I remember that vividly because it was like for 50 years they've been together, and you know that was just an incredible thing that they were still celebrating and really excited and happy about it and everything. So just that and it amazed me when 10 years later lead up to that point and it was true, and without hesitation in that belief they carried on. So that was just like my fondest memory of them. I just remember that vividly, that just big super smile on his face and how happy Grandma was and stuff. So yeah, that's all I really have to share.
Hi, this is Joe Wallace. With my grandparents, the main thing I remember from both of them is their poise and friendliness towards others. They always wanted to help someone. For us grandkids, they were always traveling and staying engaged in everything we were doing. Like, we would see them at a bunch of our events, even though they flew or drove across the country all the time. They were also imparting lessons to us every time we saw them as well. I was able to spend a bit of time with Grandma in her final years, and she always wanted to leave only a small footprint. She didn't want to get in anyone's way or whatever the daily operations were. She always wanted to be on the side and be as out the way as possible. And she always wanted to find a way to contribute as well. She would do some cleaning or some of her cooking around the house when everyone was supposed to be asleep at about 3 a.m. as to try to always have something to contribute to the house. Even if you can't do everything, not working, just always be contributing. So there were very many life lessons to learn from the two of them, and I will miss them greatly.
Like, the core memories I do remember was that I had exchanged like letters, like actual snail mail. We would like write letters to one another. I remember Grandma had really nice handwriting, or maybe she was just like taking extra care to write really nicely. I don't really know, but yeah, like her and Granddaddy, we would exchange letters when I was really young. That kind of helped me practice my writing, and I guess that translates well because I love writing as an adult. Most of my memories are kind of blurry about childhood, but I do remember for them, like, I just feel like I recall warmth and love, acceptance, and just wishing the best for us and the best for me. I definitely remember that, like, the last few years with Grandmommy, when she would like check in, making sure that I was doing all right. Where am I located now? Because y'all know I've moved plenty of places. And so I always remembered that, made sure to take the time to catch up with me, see if I'm doing all right, and seemed happy for how my life was kind of unfolding.
When Daniel, Nikki, and I were 10 years old, we joined the church that we were going to at the time. And when we joined the church, it was important for Grandmommy and Granddaddy to come visit us and to watch us join the church. I thought that was meaningful because growing up in the church was important to the family, and that memory stuck with me.
I won't forget when I was 4 years old and Granddaddy had beat my butt because I had threw the stuffed toy and it hit him in the back of the head. And I was in timeout. Mommy and Daddy were out of town, so Granddaddy and Grandma were watching, but I was in trouble. But before Granddaddy had left, he had smiled and gave me a hug before he looked out the door. That's my best memory of Granddaddy.
I'm Capri. I'm the youngest granddaughter, and one of my core memories is one time my grandparents were in town, and my grandpa was, I guess, just making some microwave popcorn, and somehow he burned this popcorn so much. It was the most burnt I've probably seen anything ever, and it broke the microwave. And then our parents didn't end up getting a microwave for like 4 or 5 years later. But that is just one of my core memories, and every time I eat popcorn, which is one of my favorite foods, it makes me think of that. It makes me think of my grandpa, and I just miss his infectious laugh.
This is Addison Jordan, the youngest grandchild of JB and Val. And the memory that I want to share today is particularly of Grandma Val and just the conversations that I had with her. Oftentimes sitting in her kitchen, I think back in the memory of her eyes would be closed and it would be like she was sleeping and not paying attention. But then when it was her time to talk or she was listening and when it was her time to talk, she was exactly there and knew exactly what you were saying and was so aware and super sharp. So that's my memory of Grandma.
I would say, the fondest memory that I have, or the thing that stood out the most for me really was how welcoming both of them were, Grandpa and Grandma Long. But for me, the thing that stuck out the most, not to say that I didn't see it in others, but with Grandma Long was she was always smiling. So now I know exactly where you get it from, Jackie. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but that's definitely one of the biggest things that stuck out in my mind was Grandma Long would always smile. Every time I would go there to visit, which wasn't often, but that was the one thing that really stuck out. She would always smile and give me a really big hug and make me feel welcomed. So that was something that stuck with me to this day that I remember. Also with Grandpa Long, he's very witty, he was more of the serious one from all of my interactions and from what I can remember. But most importantly, he would always crack a joke here or there and make me laugh, and that stood out a lot too, just making me feel comfortable, making me laugh, making me smile. Those were the two things that stood out the most. I even remember one year when my sister came down to the DC area, and I believe we all went up there. It was really briefly, but they were so welcoming and always made everyone feel happy and feel like they were part of the family. So those are the biggest things that stuck out for me and that I remember and that I'll keep with me.
Unfortunate as it may be, all I have of great-grandma and Grandpa Long are stories. However, my great-grandparents were inspiring individuals, with her being an educator and him serving the country and community with bravery. Having such few memories, conversations, and meetings with them taught me above all the importance of a legacy, of knowing from whom you came. Their successes are maintained in future generations, in my near relatives, in me. I give heavenly thanks to them for such inspiration, and I, Jacelyn Vaughn, hope to carry on a small portion of their legacy with pride.
Hi, this is Mimi. One of my favorite memories is when Grandma Long would like to be up late at night to eat some ice cream. Call it her ice cream social.
Yeah, I remember now. Hi, this is Michael. One of my favorite memories about Grandma Long would be getting a card from her and having a letter and some money and telling me go get some ice cream with that money.
We miss you. Love you both.